There are few swords in the world that are more intimidating or more effective than the two-handed Chinese war sword. Its huge, wide blade will shear through armor as if it were butter, not to mention mere flesh and bone. However, there's nothing clumsy or awkward about this sword. Its 14.5-inch cord-wrap grip, S-shaped guard, and still ring-shaped pommel all work in concert to make it a well-balanced weapon that's unbelievably fast and agile.
I can't tell you how easy that was. You have the right angle and a beautiful sword like this with that unbelievably great cross-section. That thing just flew through that bamboo. Look how thick this stuff is. Some thick stuff. I love it. The Chinese war sword by Cold Steel. That's what I love about this Chinese war sword. Cuts like a bat out of hell. That piece of rope's bigger than my upper arm. Hundreds and hundreds of strands of polyester twine, all braided together. Enormous resistance, but it's no match for our Chinese war sword. That's what a Chinese war sword is all about.
Featuring a wider, heavier blade and a more subdued polish, our warrior katana is all about performance. Make no mistake, it's a very handsome sword, but its long suit is cutting and slashing through any obstacle in its path, while being strong and tough enough to endure the stress and strain of battle. If you want a high-performance sword at a very reasonable price, look no further than our warrior katana.
Our warrior's katana makes a big hole, even through a male shirt. And as an added bonus, you can throw it as well, as you just saw. Well, there you have it. The most extreme, horrendous testing of a Japanese katana that I've ever even heard of. We've cut through 4-inch tatami mats 500 times. We've cut through 1-inch thick manila rope 500 times. We beat the blade on this steel table. We put the blade and we flexed it in a vise and we bent it like a pretzel. And it's still really useful. Don't spend $150 or $250 or $300 on that sword made by companies that aren't known for quality, that have never proven any of their claims and never will. Buy a sword that will always match your skills. As much as you train, as hard as you train, you deserve a sword that will always equal your skill. As your skill goes up, the sword will meet you at every step on that path up the mountain. A cold steel sword will meet you and be your friend that you can trust on for life.
The typical Viking sword of the 9th and 10th centuries featured a long, wide blade with a broad central fuller and 2 keen edges. Our interpretation has a double-edged blade hand-forged out of carbon steel, then polished to a brilliant luster. The wooden handle is covered in leather and supported by a simple, elegant guard at one end, and an equally handsome 5-lobe pommel at the other. Both guard and pommel feature traditional Celtic knot embellishments.